Hi, Julie Jones from SSB Performance, Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week, brought to you by Game Day Sportswear. This week we're talking about how we can use our emotion to help us perform better. Today is not my favorite day of the year. It's just not. 6 years ago today, I lost my mom. We were just finished a family vacation. She, my dad, my sister, and my sister's two little kids were driving back to Kentucky where my sister lived at the time. They got out at McDonald's. Everything was great. My mom walks back out, apparently had a stroke, fell down, had a traumatic brain injury, and then that was almost the end. I was still in Florida, had to fly to Kentucky. I get to the airport. Delta's flights are all grounded. They had computer issues, and you can imagine if anything else could have gone wrong, right? One of those kind of deals. I then end up flying to Louisville, have to drive to Lexington. In the meantime, I didn't make it. She had passed before I got there, and it was devastating. Why am I telling you this story? Well, as I was thinking about this over the past couple of days, I started to think about how incredible our brains are and how incredibly potent our emotions are. I can put myself back in that second in an instant. It's not fun, but I can do it. And so can you. Think about all the major things in your life. The day your child was born, the day you won the championship. I can remember walking in to the University of Detroit's field when I was at Cleveland State, when we were about to win the MCC championship and move on to the NCAA tournament. I remember that too. We can recreate these things with intense detail. So intense that it changes our physiological state. I can go back to that day 6 years ago and I can feel exactly the same way today. For at least 10 seconds, it can be that intense, right? My heart feels like it's going to crack. You know what it's like if you've lost someone. Those emotions can be brought back up just like that. So if our bodies can do that, how can we use this to our performance, for our performance? When I'm talking with my teams, I often ask them to almost separate their feelings from facts. We talk about acknowledging how we feel, figuring out how we really need to feel, and then thinking about what we know and basing our actions on that. Not on how we feel, but on the facts in front of us. What do we know? What do we need to do? What's our next move? What do we need to do now? Often our feelings take us away from the present. They take us back to things like 6 years ago. They get us worried about what's going to happen next, things that may not even happen. So sometimes separating our feelings or acknowledging and then thinking about what we really need to do and paying attention to what we know instead of paying attention to how we feel. Sometimes that's what we need to do for our performance. But on the other hand, when I'm talking about visualization with my teams, I have them first look at a picture, study it in detail. Because as you know, and according to the picture in the tip, if you go to my website, ssbperformance.com/blog, today's tip, you'll see the picture of the brains in an fMRI machine. The brain that when we're actually looking at something through our eyes, the brain when we're imagining something, and then the list of brains that shows the difference between the two, there's no difference. Our body doesn't know the difference. So the way I feel today, when I think back to the events of August 8th, 2016, my body is reacting exactly the same as it did that day, at least for a few seconds. So if our bodies can do that, how can we use that with our visualization? So step 2, when we're talking about visualization, look at the picture. Now add your emotion to it. How do you feel when you look at that picture? How do you feel about the people in the picture or the dog in the picture or whatever it is? Then I have the athletes recreate it in their mind again. And then my next question is, do you feel different about that image now that you have added the emotion to it? The answer is always yes. So if this is the case, if our body doesn't know the difference between what we're imagining and what we've actually done, then why don't we use that more? We're crazy not to. At Akron and at Cleveland State, we both did we did visualization at both places. But if I knew then what I know now, we would do it all the time. We would add it in to all kinds of things. Why? Because it is a ridiculously powerful tool to help us be present, to help us have the right thought at the right time, to help us move forward as opposed to getting held back, to help us continue on with what's going on in front of us, which I would just making sure that my phone call didn't interrupt this video, so was I present? I'm trying to do two things at once, probably not. But the bottom line is that this tool is really, really powerful. So how can we use it? How can we use it? We need to think about and put almost like a little treasure chest full of all the things that have gone right for us. Go back and think about exactly how we felt when we drilled it, when we sunk it, when we made the long putt, whatever it might be. How did we feel during that time? Because that is what ties us to these images, to these skills on the days that we don't feel like it. Tying emotion to our visualization is imperative. So if you're having your athletes do visualization, ask them how they felt about things and have them add in those important details. How can you use visualization more consistently in your program is the question. And I know you listen to this, you think, oh yeah, I need to use that. I would read articles, read books. Yeah, we're going to do that. And for the couple weeks we did it. And then things get back to the hurried because we don't have enough time stuff. And it's hard. But I can help you with that. Check out my 5-Minute Mindset program. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. I've got 3 days or 3 things for each week that'll keep your athletes on track with their mental game. I'd love to help you institute that. You don't even have to do anything. I'll do it all for you. But the question is, why? And I've asked that question a million times since 2016. Why? I can't answer a lot of questions why. But I know why we need to use visualization, because it can change our physiology. It can help us be in the positive state that we need to be in before we walk to the plate, before we step to the line, before we go out to the pitch, whatever it is, before we kick the shot. And that's what's important. We can't be thinking about what went wrong before or what might go wrong next. We need to have images of what's gone right in the past and tie ourselves to those so that we're ready and able, physiologically, mind, body, and spirit, ready to be our best. If you have questions about this or any other mental tip tool, please reach out, juliej@ssbperformance.com. Check out all my other tips at my website, ssbperformance.com/blog. For those of you who feel like I do today or any other day in losing a loved one, I send you peace. But I choose at this point to go against that negativity bias that is a part of all of us and think about the bright spots about being my mother's daughter. I hope you'll do the same. Have a great week.